Now, the problems in healthcare today is absolutely huge. And in my clinic here, I see so many different types of problems coming to my clinic. People suffering from digestive problems, back pain, headaches, sleep disorders, neuromuscular disorders, cancers, different types of health issues. Our focus is not to work on the symptom. Our focus is to work on what might be causing the problem. It's the most critical thing for me when patients come. We ask 3 questions. Where is your problem coming from? How is it affecting you? And how are you dealing with it? Because if we don't get the answers to those questions, we're never going to be able to create the right strategy. So this is what happens here in the clinic. So if you're planning on coming to the clinic, we need you to understand that we engage you in a process, in a strategy of recovery. The science now tells us that our bodies has the ability to recover. Not alone that, but we can prevent so many different of the modern day type of illnesses. So when people come to my clinic here, it's not that we're looking for a magic wand or a quick fix. That's the illusion that people have to waken up from, that our health is going to come from a bottle or a syringe or a pill. Yes, of course, all of those things, and medicine has its role. But when people come to us and they're suffering from different types of conditions, we have to look at the backstory. What is the backstory? Why are you sick? Why are you tired? Why have you back problems or digestive problems? Why do you feel you don't want to go to work, or you feel just totally lethargic, you lack concentration and focus? There's a reason for that. And the reason is the way we live our lives. And the way you live your life is going to be reflected through your body and how you feel. So when we get people here, we need to listen to that story, because in medicine and inside in a doctor's surgery, they're not going to have the time to sit down for a half hour or an hour with you to try to figure out exactly why it is you feel the way you feel. And if we don't address that, how are you ever going to recover? Like I said, the science now shows us that by adapting the right strategy and engaging in the right process, that you have the ability to recover. But you have to be patient. You have to be willing to put in the time. There is no quick fix. Like I said, it's about understanding what the problem is, understanding where it's coming from. Then we begin the process of recovery here. First step, of course, as I said, we listen to the backstory. Why do you feel the way you feel? Then we can get into the therapeutic process. Working with the bioenergetic system of the body is absolutely critical. Your body is made up of energy. It flows through you to keep you alive. When you experience any degree of stress in your life, whether it's from the womb, whether it's from early childhood or later, all of those stresses, when they layer up, they overload your nervous system, and your body systems just don't function properly. So to get your body systems functioning properly, we need to get the bioenergetic system of your body flowing and balanced. Once we get the energy system flowing and balanced properly, then your nervous system calms down. Once your nervous system calms down, the internal organ function changes and your body starts to heal, meaning you start to sleep better, you start to absorb your nutrients, your body empties better, you're able to function, concentrate and focus a lot better, and then this suddenly becomes the incentive for you to stay with it. The real key in my clinic here is that we look at that backstory, we get the energetic system flowing, but also on top of that, we need to look at your nutrition and what it is that you're eating on a day-to-day basis, because that's often feeding into the problems that people have. We need to know how you're sleeping, if you are sleeping right, and if you're not, why. And then we need to also understand what type of hours are you working every day? Do you have a sick child at home? Are you looking after a sick parent? There are so many different aspects to the problems that when we get them in the clinic that we have to find solutions for. So in my clinic here, we are looking to be solution based so that people can adapt the way we're teaching them and implement the strategy and the process into their lives, and then we see real change. 6 weeks, 3 months down the road, people really start to feel God, something is working. So the reason people are sick is very simple. It's the model of living. We need to change the model of living of the patient coming in. And again, I'm repeating this. People have to be patient. They have to put in the time and they have to put in the effort. So if you're coming to my clinic and you're investing time, effort and money to get here, then I need you to be able to do exactly as we tell you to do, to be patient with it, to engage in the process. If you engage in the process, like many patients that I've treated for over the last 30 years, you will, like those, engage and experience a much better quality of life, and you can recover and return to health. It just takes time and effort, and that's the reality that people have to waken up from. You know, this the illusion that, oh, somebody's going to wave a magic wand and it's going to solve the problem. So we're going to get your energy system flowing. Once we listen to that backstory and know exactly what we're dealing with, we're going to educate you about your nutrition. We're going to teach you how to breathe and how to transform your emotion. We're going to talk to you about the value of movement and exercise. We're going to talk to you about the importance of sleep and sleep time. And if you can just even get those 5 pillars of health right: eat right, breathe right, sleep right, exercise right, and think right. The final part that I just said there, the thinking. Your mind is your medicine. You need to understand that. Your mindset, what you project for yourself, what you're predicting for yourself, is absolutely critical. The science behind this is very well established, that where you focus your mind on, that's where your energy goes. Where your consciousness goes, your energy flows. So your mind is absolutely critical. So right now, what you're thinking about, what you're perceiving, you're actually creating in your body. So we need to change that if it's wrong and if it's negative. So within the clinic, that process is carried out over a period of 3 days initially. People will require some follow-up treatment and whatever the case may be. Also, they will need to continue with their medical care, and sometimes we have to refer patients here with some medics that I would work with to help them also. So it's about creating that integrated model of care for patients to help them to recover. That's the process of working with our clinic here in Ennis and County Clare.